What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. And in today's recorded decode, I am going to cover something that I wasn't really looking forward to covering. I didn't know I was going to cover it. I wasn't planning on a decode today, but so this news broke yesterday in the NFL, and I'm going to show you how this is a loaded ritual connected to the spear and Mr. Mustache Man. You guys know who I'm talking about. I'm going to try not to use his name so much. And again, just to preface this video, this is an educational video. This is not in support of anything that has to do with Mustache Man, but this is just educational to show a ritual that the United States, and in particular, Washington, D.C., is still home to the so-called Nazi regime. And I mean, what I'm going to show you here, you can say it's a coincidence if you want, but it seems pretty perfect to me. So what happened? Let's cover it. Yesterday, it was announced that the Washington Commanders football team from the Washington, D.C., pictured here, they released their new Hail RAISER uniform. And if you guys know, the original Washington uniform has a W on the helmet, but has no spear going through it. This Hail RAISER is specific in that it has a spear going through the Washington logo. Now, this is very significant, and I'm going to explain why. So, first of all, let's just talk about let's just talk about the symbolism of the name of the uniform. Hail RAISER. So that is hail, as in hail, this man, Mustache Man. And of course, you guys know what that is. If you guys don't know, look it up. Again, I don't want to be too explicit here. I just want to make the point. Hail and a razor. Now, when you hail in Mustache Man's regime, you have to raise your hand, right? In an angle, right? And when you raise your hand at the angle, it looks a lot like a spear. I'm not going to show it here. Again, I don't want to support anything to do with this man, just for the sake of my own self and others. But think about, you guys have seen the pictures. When you do the salute, you raise your hand, and it looks like you're making a spear almost. The pointed of your hands pointed. So think about that. Hail, as in connecting to Mustache Man, and razor, also connecting to Mustache Man. Look at the colors of the jerseys: black, yellow, red, the colors of Germany. Of course, he was the Führer of Germany. And so, yeah, I mean, just how crazy, how all these things, and I don't even really need any numbers. If you guys are new to the channel, we use the esoteric Kabbalah practice of gematria, which puts letters into numbers using ciphers. But I don't really need numbers really so much to show you this, right? I mean, it's clear in so many ways. With the arm raising, the hail part, the spear is what I'm going to talk about mostly in this decode, and how it connects to Mustache Man. You guys can see a book over here called The Spear of Destiny, the occult power behind the spear which pierced the side of Christ, and how Mustache Man inverted the force into a bid to conquer the world. Also another book, Destiny's Spear. So what is this all about, guys? It's clear that Washington, D.C., the commanders, are paying tribute to the history of Mustache Man and Nazi Germany. It's pretty clear. How can you deny it? They could have named this jersey anything else, but they happen to name it two words that really point to this man. Even the colors point to Germany. And the spear points to this man as well. So, but it goes deeper than that. It goes back to the Holy Roman Empire. Again, Hitler, or Mustache Man, he wanted the spear of destiny to help return the honor of the Holy Roman Empire. And again, that's what we're going to talk about. So first of all, these two phrases, which I'm not going to say, but they translate to, in German, they translate to this. Okay? And again, I'm not showing the actual salute, but again, it's clear what it is. The Hail Raiser uniform was debuted on, and like I said, I already connected it to the raising of the hand. But check out the name of the uniform, the Hail Raiser. It equals 303, like Adolf Hitler. And this is in a cipher that you're not just going to get any match to anything, right? It's not just like the base 4 ciphers. This is the Gematria Latin cipher. This cipher. And the fact that the name of this jersey equals Adolf Hitler is based off of what I already showed you about the symbolism. It's just extra additional proof that there's something more going on here. But there's also, there's really a lot more going on here. It's not just about Mustache Man. But check this out. They debuted this jersey. Let me just make this bigger. They debuted this jersey on the 105th day of the year. And of course, the name of the team that debuted this is Commanders, which equals 105. And so does Mustache Man. His name equals 105. So the 105th day of the year, to pay tribute to the Commanders and Mustache Man. It's pretty clear once again. On top of that, let's learn about the Spear of Destiny, which Mustache Man really wanted to get his hands on. Also known as the Holy Lance or the Spear of Longinus, is a legendary Christian relic believed by many to be the weapon that pierced the side of Jesus Christ during his crucifixion. Again, the difference between the new uniforms is the spear on the helmet, going through the W. But again, we're talking about the spear that pierced Jesus, supposedly. And this goes back to the Society of Jesus. Again, the Society of Jesus, the modern-day Knights Templar, which all connects back to the Romans. But again, it goes back from the Society of Jesus, which connects to the Holy Roman Empire. So let's just read what Hitler was trying to do. Adolf wanted the spear because it was a symbol of the Holy Roman Empire. Possessing it helped him frame the Nazi regime as the rightful successor to 1,000 years of Germanic glory. So he really wanted it to return as a symbol of the Holy Roman Empire. Now check out the gematria of the Society of Jesus, which equals 187, to go with the Jesus connection. But Mustache Man hit Adolf Hitler 187 in the same cipher as Washington, D.C. And again, Washington, D.C. is the team is from Washington, D.C. who debuted these jerseys. And also, he wanted this to connect to the Holy Roman Empire, which equals 187. Now check this out. In Bacon Gematria, Hail Raiser uniform equals 187. I mean, that's what they... Essentially, you could call it that, the Hail Raiser uniform, 187. So again, Adolf Hitler, Washington, D.C., Holy Roman Empire, Society of Jesus, Hail Raiser uniform, all 187. And just to expand upon the 187s, actually, so we already talked about Society of Jesus, Washington, D.C., Holy Roman Empire, and these ones. But the two at the top are also super important. George Washington. Again, Washington, D.C. is named after him. This is the team from Washington, D.C. Equals 187. But another person who equals 187 is William Shakespeare. Now, this is actually way deeper than you might think. William Shakespeare. We're talking about a spear. We're also talking about a guy named William, which starts with a W, like Washington starts with a W, But again, the spear is going through the W. William Spear. William Shakespeare. I believe that this is a logo for William Shakespeare. And again, all these things equal 187. William Shakespeare equals 187, like Adolf Hitler. But not only 187, look at the gematria of all these things, multiple ciphers, right? This spear was also known as the Holy Lance, or also Spear of Longinus. Check out the gematria. The Holy Lance equals 56, like Society of Jesus, like Washington, D.C., like Adolf Hitler. Spear of Longinus equals 191, like Society of Jesus. And again, I got a picture of the Society of Jesus logo, which is piercing. A nail is piercing through the H, like Hitler. And then you have the picture at the bottom, the Holy Roman Empire logo, which has the same colors once again as the logo as the colors of the Washington Commanders. And look at the Washington Monument. It could look like a spear, which is a phallus, right? So all these things connect, guys. But here's what really brings it all together is the spear was on the same day that Hitler died, on April 30th, the Church of Satan was founded that day. Again, this is all about raising hell. The name of this jersey is the Hail Raiser, which is a form of hell raiser, Satan. And it's a play on words of Hellraiser, I should say. Satan, right? There's a famous quote called Hail Satan. And Hitler supposedly died on the Church of Satan's birthday. I mean, before it was founded, but that's the same day as Hitler died is the Church of Satan's birthday, April 30th. But the same day that he died, supposedly, General George, got your George like George Washington in there, George S. Patton discovered the spear in the underground bunker in Nuremberg, which is where Hitler had kept it, because Nuremberg was a very important city to the Holy Roman Empire and also to Mr. Mustache Man. But yeah, General S. Patton found the spear in Nuremberg, and in 1946, it was returned to Austria. That's where Hitler was born. The same year that Donald Trump, the current commander-in-chief, Washington commander, was born. So what's the chances? The spear was returned to its home in Austria, where Hitler was born, on the same year that Donald Trump was born, 1946. But check this out. The Washington Commanders debuted their new spear jersey 305 days after Donald Trump, who is the Washington Commander, his birthday. And in gematria, the name of the team who debuted, Washington Commanders, equals 305, which is the amount of days after Donald Trump's birthday to this new uniform. Also, if you go from the uniform to Donald Trump's next birthday, it's 60 days. And Donald Trump equals 60, and Donald Trump won the 60th presidential election. So you tell me, guys, and Trump is often compared with Mustache Man. And remember, when Donald Trump was inaugurated on the 60th inauguration, should I say, Mr. Elon Musk did a full-on salute, which looked like a lot like Mustache Man's salute. Now, how does Elon Musk factor into this? So I want to talk about the number 110. All these things connect. First, Mr. Mustache Man equals 110. He was born on the 110th day of the year, April 20th. The name of the uniform, Hail Raiser uniform, equals 110. Elon Musk did the full-on salute when Donald Trump, the president, was being inaugurated, and president equals 110. Elon Musk equals 110. But notice that Apollyon, we've been talking about Apollyon on this channel because Apollyon, we just had a lot of connections with Apollyon recently. I just did a decode on that. But Apollyon is the angel of the bottomless pit, angel of hell, Hail Raiser, hell, right? But look who also equals 110. I talked about William Shakespeare, the W on the helmet with the spear going through it. William Shakespeare equals 110. But so does Woden's Day. Now, this is where the riddle gets really interesting to me. Woden's Day. When did this debut of these uniforms happen? It happened on a Wednesday. If you click the day, I'll show you. Wednesday, the 15th of April, 2026 was a Wednesday. Now, Wednesday comes from Woden's Day. Now, what's Woden's Day? Woden's Day is the Norse god, the Allfather, Odin. So Wednesday, the day of this debut, is Odin's Day or Woden's Day. And again, Woden's Day has the 110, like all these other things. Now, Woden could also be the W on the helmet, right? Woden starts with the W. There's a spear going through it. I told you, like William Shakespeare with a spear going through the W. Both equals 110, William Shakespeare, Woden's Day. Well, check this out. Not only is Woden's Day Wednesday named after Woden, Woden or Odin is known for having a spear. It's called Gungnir. But look at what Gungnir means in Norse. It means the shaking one. Guys, I hope you guys are picking up what I'm putting down here. Odin's spear, Gungnir, means shaking one. It's a spear, and it's the shaking one. It's the Shakespeare. What in the world? Here's pictures of Odin with his spear and his ravens. And the Nazis had a thing for runes, which comes from Norse mythology. So you tell me, is this a small not too perfect? Happens on a Wednesday, Woden's Day. The Nazis had a deep connection to Norse runes. All these things equal 110. William Shakespeare equals 187 and 110, which are the two numbers I've basically been focusing on. Like Adolf Hitler, 187 and 110. William Shakespeare, 187, 110. Hail RAISER uniform, 187 and 110. Woden's Day, 110. Holy Roman. You guys can see the picture, right? So what is going on here? Like with this Shakespeare, it's interesting, right? The spear was most famous for its ability to never miss its target, regardless of the skill or the strength of its wielder. The Prose Edda, it described as never stopping in its thrust, meaning it could pierce through any material, shield, or armor. Odin himself carved the magical runes into the spear's tip, which are said to enhance its accuracy and lethal power. It was used for starting wars. Now, didn't our president just start a war? And again, this was connected to Donald Trump, who's the Washington commander, and the Washington commanders just debuted this spear helmet. And just say, look what it says. Odin traditionally threw the spear over the heads of the enemy host to signal the beginning of battle. The final gesture, accompanied by the cry, Odin owns it all, was often emulated by the historical Viking warriors to sacrifice opposing army to the god. Odin owns it all. Wow. So that's the origin of Odin's spear, and it seems to connect to everything going on with the war starting, this new helmet with the spear on it. But is Odin's shaking spear the origin of William Shakespeare? I think so. It's known as the shaking one, which I thought had a match here. But yeah, it's known as the shaking one. I thought there was more. Let me see if there's anything else I want to point out here. Oh, so I just decided to type in shaking spear because that's essentially what Odin's spear is. It's the shaking spear, right? Well, it equals the Holy Lance, which in multiple ciphers, which again is the name of the spear that Hitler was trying to get. So that the Holy Lance equals shaking spear. And again, Shakespeare, Odin's spear is the shaking spear. The numbers could be coincidences, but the symbolism is not. Okay, the symbolism is clear. Now, Hitler also had a guy named Albert Speer as his architect and war production. So Albert Speer served as the Minister of Armaments and War Production. Again, the Odin Spear is known for starting wars. So I don't know what to say, guys. I mean, I think there's way more to this that I haven't even found yet, but I wanted to just share this most upfront, obvious stuff, right? That's just right in your face. Of course, Donald Trump. Could probably talk way more about him in this case. But the most interesting part to me, again, is the Odin Spear Shakespeare connection, which probably has more to it. Also, there was Operation Neptune Spear, which was part of 9/11. After that was the name of the operation that killed Osama. So there's also that connection, which I think that this also probably pays tribute to that. But that's not the main point I want to make. The main point is just this man and then Odin. And again, like I said, there's so much connections with the runes of Nazi Germany and the Odin. And again, the fact that Woden's Day. Oh, another thing I forgot to say here is there was a 206. Notice that the shaking one equals 260. That's what the name of his spear means. Shaking one. It equals 260. Well, the day of this debut of these spear helmets was 260 days left in the year on a Wednesday. Again, Woden's Day. The shaking one is the meaning of his spear. It's just, I think that's not a coincidence either. Also, there's the number 24 I want to bring up, and 25, because in Freemasonry rule of Colel, 24 and 25 are very connected. And check this out. Trump equals 25 in reduction and 24 in Chaldean. Well, they call this the W spear. If you look at the picture I posted, the bigger one, see how they said the spear W? That's what the alternate spear W. Well, spear W or W spear equals 25. Well, actually, yeah, it's the spear W, 25, like Woden. But the name of the actual name of the spear, of Odin's spear, is Gungnir, which equals 25, like spear W. So that essentially, the name of the logo, they're calling it the spear W. It equals the name of Odin's spear. It also equals 25, and Trump and Woden both equal 25. But look at this. The 24s in Chaldean, Trump equals 24. Hail Satan, 24. I talked about that a little bit. Abaddon, the angel of the bottomless pit, the RAISER, 24. And the name of the uniforms, the RAISER, equals 24. So, again, maybe coincidences, some of these, but again, the point has been made. And this is where we are. This is the world we're living in, where they're clearly putting Nazi symbolism on the Washington, D.C. football team's helmet, and no one's catching it. All right, guys. So if anyone has any other additions, please let me know in the comments, and I will try to get back to your comments. If you guys enjoyed the video, please hit the like button. And with that being said, I'll see you guys in the next video. God bless.